Now let's bring the story right up to date, Todd, with White Knight. I mean, I've reviewed the album. It's fantastic in terms of accessibility, compared perhaps to Global or State, your previous albums. Where did the idea come from for this sort of collaboration idea? I mean, you started chatting about, you thought perhaps the time was right for this in terms of where you're at in your career. But you're obviously inspired by other artists, and some of whom are appearing on this album.
Well, as I mentioned before, I live on an island 6 hours away from the west coast of the U.S., and it's hard to just call a session. So the recent records have been pretty much me doing everything, except in rare cases where, for instance, I might get Bobby Strickland with a sax solo or something. And I began to feel that I was kind of getting into my own echo chamber, and I needed to have other input in order to not repeat myself, I guess. If you don't have other kinds of ideas to mix into it, you never know when you're just kind of performing out of habit. So it was a great way for me to just kind of think in other terms, open up the kind of performance sphere so that I could write, let's say, a song that would be good for a female voice, or a song that might be good for just, a different kind of approach that might not occur to me. And in some cases, the end result is a complete surprise to both me and my collaborator. Like in the case of the song that I did with Joe Walsh, Sleep. In the end, it sounded like it didn't sound so much like me and Joe as it sounded like Brian Wilson in the end. So the end results kind of justify the fact that you give up control over parts of the process, but at the same time you gain, unpredictability and, some fresh ideas.
Now, you say that the album will have the effect of, I think in the press release, that it'll have the effect of bringing the various artists you've collaborated with to your audience. I think it works both ways. I'm sure that will happen, that some of the artists, fans will investigate your own music. Was there a particular reason to choose some of these artists? Because, for instance, as we'll play it at the end of the interview, there's a great duet with the singer Robin, and Betty Lavette was a bit of a surprise.
Well, I made a list of 24 artists that I thought I could, possibly do something productive with, and I talked to all of them, most all of them on the phone. Occasionally it was email communication, but just to see if they were open to the idea of collaboration. And I sort of posed to them that it really could go either way. It could be something that I wrote that they would make a contribution to. It could be an idea of theirs that they could send to me and I could further develop. Or it could even be something in the future, and it wouldn't necessarily have to do with this project. So Robin was one of the people I spoke with, and she said she was open, and it got towards the end, and she said she didn't actually have any ideas of her own, so I started steering one of my ideas towards her, and the end result was that particular song. And as I said, it was great for me to be able to write something, for a female voice.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's different. I mean, do you like... I mean, if you have a preference, has this perhaps been a bit of a turning point in the sense that you would welcome collaborations in the future? Do you see it leading on to anything, Todd?
I do, actually, and the label is encouraging me to do that, and they'll, I guess, electronically release whatever it is, or maybe even do some sort of product in the future. since I got on the road, I haven't really had the time to make the rounds again. But there were a lot of, there were several sort of near misses that, I almost got it done. And once I have the time, I'm going back to those opportunities, see if I can make them happen again, and look for more opportunities as well.